Hey, what is going on guys? QWERTY Rebooted here, back with another Minecraft video on my channel. Today I have a How to Redstone episode for you, so let's get straight into it. So today I will be explaining toggle flip-flops. Abbreviated as a T flip-flop, a toggle flip-flop is used to convert a redstone pulse into a constant redstone signal. So, as you can see in this example, a button will output a single pulse when pressed. The redstone lamp turns on instantly, stays on for the duration of the pulse, and then turns off. What we are trying to achieve is for the redstone lamp to turn on instantly and stay on until we press the button again. This might seem useless now, but used correctly, it can help solve some pretty big problems. Practical applications would include things like allowing you to open and close doors from both sides. The fact that these circuits can convert a redstone pulse into a constant redstone signal is arguably their best practical use. I mean, that is so helpful in so many different redstone contraptions. There are even more uses for this circuit, and once you understand how it works, then you will figure out what they are. In today's video, I will feature 3 T flip-flop designs. There are literally hundreds of different ways to make T flip-flops in Minecraft. Now, in my opinion, these are the 3 most useful, easiest to build T flip-flop designs. Just don't feel limited to these ones in your redstone contraptions. The first design is called the Pulse Shortener T flip-flop, or if you prefer to call pulse shorteners monostable circuits, then you could also call this the monostable T flip-flop. So as you can see, we are not getting an output. We press the button, we start getting an output, we press the button again, and then we stop getting an output. And that is all fairly simple. So the reason this is called the pulse shortener T flip-flop is because a pulse shortener takes up the majority of the design. As you can see right here, from the button through to the repeater is actually the piston pulse shortener that was the first design in the last episode of How to Redstone I uploaded. It is right over there. If you want to check out that episode, I will leave a link to it down in the description of this video, and there will be a link to it on screen at the end of this video. So go check that out if you want to. So basically what is happening here is that this pulse shortener is capable of outputting a 1-tick pulse, which is the absolute shortest pulse you can possibly get in Minecraft. Now, not all pulse shorteners are able to do that. For example, the third design that I showcased in the last episode of How to Redstone is still a pulse shortener, but it doesn't output a 1-tick pulse like the first design did. So you need to make sure that you are using this exact pulse shortener, or this won't work because it needs to output a 1-tick pulse. Anyway, this 1-tick pulse is then running into a sticky piston. Now you should be thinking, well then won't the pulse cause the piston to extend and then pull the redstone block back? So obviously whenever the redstone block is touching this redstone lamp, the redstone lamp will be powered. However, with the pulse, the redstone block should just move next to the lamp for the duration of the pulse and then move back. Now that is what you would think. However, the thing about 1-tick pulses in Minecraft is that they actually cause sticky pistons. You can see this is a sticky piston. 1-tick pulses in Minecraft cause sticky pistons to throw out their blocks. So as you can see, the 1-tick pulse ran through the sticky piston and it extended its block, but it forgot to pull it back. And this is a really useful game mechanic that just allows us to make cool circuits like this. So you can see if we run another 1 tick pulse through the sticky piston, it will pull its block back and the output will turn off. But yes, that's basically how this works. So the way that you build it is actually pretty simple. So you want to start by building the piston pulse shortener. Now, of course, you could go check out the last How to Redstone episode. Of course, I said there's a link to that video down in the description of this video, and you could figure out how to build it. It was design number 1, and you could also figure out more about how it works and all of that. However, I will show you how to build it right now. So you want to start by placing a button on a block. Then, coming out the back of that block, you just want to place a piece of redstone dust, and then on the same level as the block that you placed that redstone dust on, you want to place a sticky piston facing upwards. And then on the same level as the redstone dust, you want to place a solid block on top of that sticky piston. Now you can have a repeater output coming out of that block, and that is your pulse shortener complete. Now you can just run this into a sticky piston and then place a redstone block on the face of the sticky piston, and then count 1 block away from the redstone block, just so that there is space for the piston to extend, and then you can place your output. I am using a redstone lamp, but you could run your output into anything. The second design is called the Dropper Hopper T flip-flop. So as you can see, we aren't getting an output. We press the button, then we are getting an output, and then we press the button again, and then we aren't getting an output anymore. So the way that this works is pretty simple. We have all of these droppers running into each other, except for one of the corners where we have a hopper instead of a dropper. So now the reason that we do this is because we have a comparator output coming from this dropper over here. So we have an item flowing around inside all of these droppers, and whenever that item is in this dropper right here, then we will be getting an output, and whenever it's not in this dropper, then we won't be getting an output. So when we press this button, this dropper here will dispense this item up into this dropper. Then the button will still be active, so it will tell this dropper to dispense the item into this hopper. And then this hopper will obviously put the item down into this dropper. Now at that point the button will have stopped being active, and then the dropper will not dispense the item further. So it will be stuck in this dropper, and the comparator will be detecting it and giving an output. So just to show you that, when we press this button, these 2 droppers will be powered, and then the item will run into this hopper and then down into this dropper, which will not be powered. And sort of the same thing happens in the other direction. So when we press this button, it will of course power this dropper over here. And it will also technically be powering this dropper over here. Only in the time it takes for this dropper to dispense its item into this dropper, in that time the button will no longer be active. So technically, when we press the button to turn on the lamp, it is powering both of these 2 droppers, but when we press the button to turn off the lamp, it is only powering this dropper right here. So as you can see, we press the button and the item will flow from this dropper into this dropper, and we will stop getting our output because obviously this dropper is empty. The way that you build it is really simple. However, the same cannot be said for explaining how you build it. So just try to stay with me. So go 1 block back from the block that you will be placing your button on, which is your input, and place in a dropper facing towards where your button will be. Now this next dropper is the dropper that you will be placing your button on, so you can place that facing upwards so that the first dropper is running into the second dropper like so. Then on top of that second dropper you want to place in a third dropper facing away from where your button will be. Now you can just come around to the front, and on the second dropper you placed in, you can place your button right on it like that. Now you can take a hopper, and as you can see in this little rotation, we are missing one corner, and that is the corner above the first dropper you placed. So you can just place a hopper running down into that dropper. Now you can take a comparator output from that dropper. So this is almost done. You just need to place any random item inside of one of the droppers, and then you can just run this into an output, obviously from where the comparator is. So as you can see, this is now fully functional. The third and final design for today's video is the repeater lock T flip-flop. And I'm not going to lie, no matter how well I explain this, you are still going to be a little bit confused. So you will need to play around with this one a bit for yourself before you understand it fully. Because it works on some weird mechanics, like the repeater locking mechanics. So you're going to need to play around with this one a little bit. Anyway, let's get on with the demonstration. First, we are currently not getting an output. Then we press the button, and then we are getting an output, and then we press the button again, and then we aren't getting an output. So that is all working perfectly. So basically what is happening here is that when we press this button, it will power this block, which will power this redstone torch, which will turn it off. And because this redstone torch turns off, the repeater, which is taking an output from this redstone torch, will also turn off. Now when this repeater turns off, it will no longer be locking this repeater, because this repeater currently has a repeater going into the side of it, and that is why it's locked. However, if this repeater here loses power, then this repeater will become unlocked. Now, I know there is no signal flowing into the back of this repeater, but this repeater itself does still have a signal in it from just before it was locked. So when this repeater turns off, then that signal will flow into this block, which will power this block obviously, and then this block will power this redstone torch. This redstone torch is currently off, so by the block receiving power, it will turn on. Then obviously, because this redstone torch is on, this repeater over here can take the output from it and put it into this redstone dust. Now that will power the second repeater once again. And just as that happens, the button will stop providing a pulse, because obviously the button only provides a pulse for so long. And at that point, this redstone torch will turn on, this repeater will turn on, and before the signal can flow through this repeater, it will get locked again. So this block will not receive power from that, but there will be a signal trapped inside this repeater, as it currently is. And basically, when this repeater over here puts out that output that puts the signal into the second repeater, that signal, which is flowing through this redstone dust, is what will cause our output. So yeah, that was very difficult to explain, and like I said, you are just going to have to build this for yourself and play around with it a bit yourself to understand it fully. To build it, you can start by placing a button on a solid block. Now I do just want to mention that that has to be a stone button. In every other design I've shown you up until this point, in every single How to Redstone episode, you could replace the stone button with a wooden button. But for this exact design, you cannot use a wooden button. that has to be a stone button or this will not work. Because obviously wooden buttons output a longer pulse than stone buttons do. Anyway, now on the side of that block that you placed the stone button on, you can place in a redstone torch. Now take a repeater output from that redstone torch and run it into the side of another repeater which is also running into a block. And make sure you set the second repeater you placed to 4 ticks of delay. Now on the side of the block that your second repeater is running into, you want to place in another redstone torch. And then running side by side with the second repeater that you placed in, you want to take a repeater output from this redstone torch. And also set that to 4 ticks of delay. So now you can connect this third repeater that you placed in with the second repeater that you placed in by running redstone dust from the third repeater into the second repeater, like so. And if you want to take an output from this, you are going to need to run the redstone dust out one more block. Then you can obviously run that into your output. Once again, I'm using a redstone lamp, but you could use any output you want to. And that is your circuit complete. It will be on by default, as you can see, but just press the button and then it will turn off. So, that just about wraps up today's redstone tutorial. If you want to see more T-flip-flop designs in future videos, just let me know down in the comments section. Please like this video and share it with your friends, just to make sure that it gets out to a wider audience. Also subscribe to my channel and ring that notification bell just so that you never miss out on any of my channel's content. And with that being said guys, I'll see you in the next video. QWERTY rebooted out.